Yo, what's up guys? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day and a fantastic new year, by the way. Hopefully your 2024 is starting off strong and good. Today, I'm going to be showing you guys the project file for the anime cover that myself and Aaron did of the song Eio no Sumika, which is off the ever so popular Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2. If you guys haven't watched it already, it's great. We all love it. But yeah, I thought I'd show you guys how I approach recreating some of the sounds from the original, as well as some of the tracks that I thought would help enhance the cover. So let's jump straight into it, and yeah, let's get started. So this is the project file. Let's just jump straight into it. So basically, I will tend to load the original song into my DAW like so. And there's a few reasons. One is for me to have the original song to kind of reference and kind of A/B, as well as actually Studio One has a really cool feature where it has this feature called detect chords. Now it's not accurate, I will say, but it's pretty good as far as just getting, first of all, at least like some of the root note parts down. And so it's just really handy to have especially if you're trying to learn the song and it's a brand new song and there's no tabs or anything like that. This is really handy. So let me show you guys some of the more interesting stuff. So one thing that you will note from the original song is in the drums. So if we just solo the original drum stems, this is what you hear in the original. So this is right. So pretty standard stuff. Right, so real drums for the most part, but then there's some additional stuff like this, right? So whenever I approach a cover that has more than just regular style drums, this is kind of like almost the fun part for me, because now you're trying to almost recreate sounds from the original cover. You don't have to do that, but it's something that I really find fun to do, and it's a real good exercise for you guys as producers and just as musicians to try to recreate some of the sounds. You don't have to get close, like super close, but I think getting to that ballpark is a real good way to learn how to use your DAW, as well as just getting the sounds and trying to get as close. So when I'm listening to this, right, I hear, like kind of an 808 kind of style kick. I hear kind of this little finger snap. I hear a bit of like hi-hat stuff. Right, there's some claps. Sounds like a real kick drum now. All right. Now we're straight into real drums, right? So one thing that I told Aaron was, okay, I know that you don't have enough triggers, right? But I told them that just at least play the parts, and then at least you're actually playing the MIDI notes, and then I can move it around, right? And that's kind of one of the reasons why I really like working with MIDI in this context, because it gives us a lot more flexibility in terms of sounds and whatnot. So let me play you guys now our version of this verse section. Right, so the drum plugin that I use, that is my choice, is Addictive Drums, and one of the cool features that it has is these flexi spots, right? And it has a lot of these different samples. And so the minute I heard this sample, right, that little white noise stick, I immediately thought, wait a second, Addictive Drums has something similar. And so I kind of essentially just moved Aaron's MIDI note to, let me see if I can find it. Right, so with the kick drum, I'm just using this trigger kick from Addictive Drums, right? And then and now you might notice that there's no finger snap, right? So Addictive Drums doesn't have, I don't think it had any particular finger snap that I liked. And so I actually used this plugin. So if you guys are familiar with Studio One, there's an actual built-in VST plugin called Impact XT. And it's comes standard with every Studio One, or I'm pretty sure it does. And it's really just a bunch of samples. So you've got all these different samples here. And the one that caught my eye was this Electro Producer pack, which had this. It had the snap sound, which is pretty much what I wanted. So layer that with the addictive drums, you've got this. Right? Now I kept in Aaron's performance, he's playing a rim shot here. And the reason why I left that was more of just, I liked the tone of that rim shot playing along with it. And so I just left it in there. But yeah, that was really it. And so you got this, right? That's the pre-chorus now. And then from there, we go into the, that was the verse. And now we go into the pre-chorus. And then if you guys keen-eyed among you, you would have seen we've got a clap sample here. So that's where, and so I use that for the clap sample. So this is how this one sounds. Right? Now, when it comes to approaching how when I'm recreating these sounds, I like to try to A/B between the original as well as what I'm working with. So if we're listening to the original, I'm kind of hearing that there's a little bit of verb on that clap, not too much, but just enough, right? So, so in that particular case, let me see if I can find it. I grabbed I used the little plate plugin from Soundtoys. So, and I've got it pretty around, looks like it's around 40-ish% or so, kind of in between. And then I've got a bit of a long decay, again, to really kind of just exaggerate those reverb tails. But yeah, pretty standard stuff. And then from there, so we'll play that for you. And then now we go into the second part of the pre-chorus. Right, and then from there we go into the chorus. Let's let me show you guys some of the other fun stuff. So I'll kind of show you guys just real briefly some of the guitars. So let's just solo these. Right. Now, in the original, from what I could tell, now I don't know if they do this in the recording, but live I've seen them play with octaves, right? But in this case, I actually just did, I believe, is it this track? I just played the actual notes, just single notes. And it worked out fine, purely just because the left and right already have guitars, so adding playing more octaves kind of just felt like it would just add a bit too much mush to it. So that was really just more of a production choice on my end. And then from there, we've got the little... So for this song, I actually used the Neural DSP plugin. So this is the Tim Henson plugin that I used. So the setting that I tend to use is really it's a bit of a meme preset name, but it's literally the worst. It's the worst clean preset, but I really like this preset. It's one of my favorite presets to use, especially for these more almost math rock, Tim Henson-y kind of riffs where it's like a clean sound, but you want to still have that the clarity and that compressed feel. This is a really great plugin for that. Yeah, I don't think I changed too much. Really, the main thing was just, I think, increasing the gain a little bit and then turning off the boost and overdrive and just having compressors. You have that kind of clean sound. I don't know if I changed. I think I left, the reverb, and I don't even think I did anything with delay. I just increased the output and that was it. This preset, some of the presets from Neural DSP are really good. So highly recommend if you guys want a really good plugin. I really would highly recommend the Neural DSP stuff. As well as Guitar Rig. These are I use Guitar Rig for a lot more distorted, just kind of stuff. You can use whatever, but yeah, those are some of the plugins. And then from there, some other things to note is most of these guitar parts were actually done on single coil, or a single coil sound. So on my guitar, so I use a an Epiphone 339, which has which lets you essentially lets you coil split on both pickups. Actually, I can show you guys. So this is the guitar that I use. You guys will recognize it from all the videos. But yeah, it pretty much has like, you can basically coil tap either this pickup and this pickup. And the cool thing is that it's individual controls for each of them. So you can have this one be coil split and then this one still be the full humbucker. So really handy. I really like this guitar so much because of that, because it's such a flexible guitar when you're just trying to workshop ideas for whether you need a single coil or just a humbucker. Really handy. So yeah, this is a workhorse. I love this guitar. But yeah, so that's that. So so let me play you guys a little bit of the verses. That's kind of the some of the more interesting stuff. So in the original, let me play some of the original for you. Right, so that's kind of that's the guitar track. So listening to that, when I'm hearing this for the first time, I'm thinking, yeah, like much more of a cleaner guitar. There's a bit of verb. There's either a synth or some kind of echo, right? So obviously I can't, like that one was, I didn't recreate exactly, but I tried to get pretty close. So this is my version. Right? So the lead guitar on the left side is kind of trying to mimic that. And then on the right side, there's your rhythm. Just diamond chords, all on the one or on the downbeat. Nothing too crazy. Something that I guess is of note is the plugins that I use. So for this one, for both these plugins, I'm just using Guitar Rig, which again, I won't go over too much detail. But yeah, this is the plugin that I use. This is the settings. But the cool thing for this one was the reverb, actually. So with this one, I wanted to actually experiment with this plugin. So this is a plugin that I bought quite a while ago, actually, like maybe a few months ago. It's this JST Skybox. Now, I know a lot of you guys will be saying that, hey, there's like, a Strymon, there's already a Strymon Big Sky plugin, right? And I'm sure it's great, and it's probably closer to what the Big Sky sounds like. I just really like this because, honestly, this plugin was like not that expensive. It was like maybe a few bucks or so, or I remembered at least it was cheaper than the Strymon one. And honestly, it sounds great. It has pretty much most of the standard like reverbs that you want. You've got cloud, choral, shimmer, room, all this kind of stuff. But yeah, the main thing I wanted from this plugin was the cloud setting, right? So let me just play a little bit of that. So we've got a bit of a 76% decay, got sort of like a few milliseconds of pre-delay, again, just for the chord to kind of properly ring out, and then the mix is set to 34%, so you still get a bit more of that dry signal, so it's not all washed out per se. Now, one thing you'll notice that I've increased the output just a hair bit. Now, this is something that I do a lot with reverb plugins. I don't know why it is, but to my ears, a lot of times when I put a reverb plugin, the perceived volume of an instrument tends to just go slightly down, right? Which is something that I don't want to do. I don't like, right? So a lot of times when I do have a reverb plugin, and that's not the case for everything, but in this particular case, I wanted it so then when I engaged the reverb, it didn't bring down the overall perceived volume. And so that's why I have I set the output to about 2.3 dB gain increase. But yeah, there's that. So from there, let me play you guys the lead guitar part. So we've got this, right? And this is, again, one of my favorite delay plugins, just using Echo Boy. I've got it set to like just a quarter note delay setting. I've got the mix kind of halfway, which is interesting. I think probably the reason was because I wanted the delays to be a little bit more present for the listener. And so that's something that I guess made the executive choice to do. But that's about it. I have it set to an analog delay, so the delays don't get they get warmer over time, so it kind of blends a bit more. But yeah, from there. From there, we'll play a little bit of the pre-chorus. So one thing you'll note is this bit here. This is sort of mimicking the original, but I don't think it's exactly what the original is playing. So the original is playing this. Right? And then I'll play you guys what I did. But I really liked that little thing that I thought, let me just play that for like the whole pre-chorus instead. So this is what the pre-chorus sounds like from my version. Right? And then you've got the da-da-da thing. So going into the chorus, there's nothing too much crazy going on with the guitars. Right? Very staccato-y kind of thing. In this case, I think I changed this track here to be using just humbuckers for that one. Right? And then we've got the outro. Pretty much like how the original sounds. We've got this little extra lead guitar here. Let me just solo that for you guys. So. And that one is also, I think, using like a single coil setting on the guitar. But something that is worth mentioning is actually going into the chorus. So one thing, and this isn't a production trick that I'm sure a lot of producers know, but if you guys don't know, so one thing that you can do to help really make a chorus exciting is adding a reversed either cymbal or guitar. And it really kind of just helps to, and it's a little trick that I kind of found actually worked in this case, because if you listen to the original drums, I remember hearing that, I was like, that cymbal almost sounds reversed, right? It's either reversed or they're kind of washing into it, right? And so I thought, hey, why not do something similar? So I've got this, right? So pretty simple. So I literally just grabbed like, I think this cymbal hit, rendered it out, and then just reversed it, right? Now you might be thinking like, oh, what's the point of having the reverse cymbal? Well, let me play for you guys what it sounds like without the reverse cymbal. And if I add the reverse cymbal, you notice how like it almost draws you in, right? And it's the little things that when it comes to production and recording, and when you're making a track or a song, it's these little things that kind of just help elevate the track just a little bit. So that's a little tip for you guys that if you guys don't know, there you go. So that's a little production tip that you can use, especially for your choruses or your intros, or basically any section that you want where you just want it to like kind of hit something hard, or drop into something really like drop into something really quiet as well. That's something that's really cool that you can do. But yeah, so going back to the chorus, so nothing too much really as far as that I'm doing differently as far as the original. We've got the vocals here. Just got the lead vocal and the backing vocals. I think the original, let me listen to, I think the original has, yeah, so the original version does have some backing vocals, so nothing too different really from the original version. One thing though that I kind of added sort of later down the track were these keys instruments. So in the original, so let me play the guitar track or the guitar track from the original. Now I can't fully make out what exactly they're playing, but it definitely, like, you can definitely hear guitars, but then there's something, you can hear that there's a little bit of, like, it just sounds like there's some kind of piano, right? And so my kind of ears perked up to that, and I was like, okay, how can I kind of recreate that? Because I can't make out exactly what it's playing, but I can kind of get close to it, right? So if we kind of go here, so this is what I've got. So I added a few keys plugins. So if one is some pads, it's really soft. Like if I turn it up a bit. And that's just the Analog Dreams contact instrument plugin. Really nice pads. But yeah, really the point of this was just to, again, really have it just down a little bit in the mix, just to add just that little bit of just to fill out that space just a little bit in that middle section, you know, especially when you have these kind of guitars that are very staccato-y. There's a lot of breathing room that we can add, right, just to help fill out that chorus. So yeah, like that's something that I wanted to do for this one. And then we've got these keys. So we've got this one. Right, that's what context instrument is that? So that's a yeah, just the hybrid keys plugin. I really like the hybrid keys sound from Contact. It's really good. A lot of cool sounds and whatnot. But that's on the left side, right? And then on the right side, we've got this. Right? And that's also hybrid keys, apparently. And so with this, I wanted to have this almost left-right melody lines going, but not and have him kind of sort of, you get what I mean. You will get what I mean. Let me just play it. So you notice the left side is like an octave lower, right? But you notice that this part here, right? It kind of almost like the right side kind of goes off on its own thing. And that's something that you can do when it comes to having sort of a left and right melody where one's like higher and then like an octave and then the other's lower, is that you can kind of make it sort of, you sort of have them, these melodies kind of weave in and out where they're in unison and then they kind of do like go different in contrary motion, as my music teacher would say. And kind of make them kind of go off on their own thing for a bit and come back in. And that just kind of helps add stereo width to your track, right? And it's real subtle, but I think it really adds to the song. So, and really like the right hand is just kind of just playing arpeggios. It's kind of just implying the chord, right? Yeah, just, you know, sort of doing that. And then we go to the second half of the chorus. Right, and now this is one of like my favorite, well, I wouldn't say my favorite keys part ever, but it's something that I'm really proud of, that I was like, oh, that sounds really good. And it's honestly something that I'm like, I kind of want to use in a song at some point, but we'll see. But yeah, you'll notice in like the second half of the chorus, right, it kind of changes keys for like, not keys, like changes chords, like from that's different from earlier. This bit here is something that I'm really proud of. This little right, you know, it's just a little like just little something where it's not implying the arpeggio. It's just a little melody thing there. But yeah, that's the keys in the chorus. So we'll just play the chorus for like some parts of it. Now you would notice like it's not very loud in the mix, right? But But if I take it out, you'll see that it just feels like it's missing something, right? And that's really the purpose of these tracks. These tracks are not meant to be super loud in your face, but really their purpose is just to just fill out the little gaps in between. Right, and then from there we go into the outro. And then the keys, solo these. And kind of having the chords kind of come in on the, not on the one, but rather just before, sort of getting the anticipation feel. And it sounds, which sounds really nice, especially with that right hand melody with this here. Right. Again, and like I don't think this is really in the original, but it's just a little bit of sprinkle of hundreds and thousands, just to add that little bit of something to the track. But that's, yeah. Right, and that's but yeah, those are the key tracks there. But yeah, that's about it really, as far as kind of some of the standout tracks for this cover. It was a lot of fun to do this cover, to be honest. Like I really enjoyed doing this cover, and I think Aaron did as well. Kind of just like, it sort of just builds on, like it just adds, especially with these little tidbits here. It was a lot of fun to try to recreate some parts of the original song and whatnot, especially some of the sounds and whatnot, as well as like just adding, you know, these keys parts, just again to really make that chorus feel just a little bit more you know, fuller. So yeah, that's really the project file for my cover of Eia no Sumika, which is, as of at least right now anyway, is I think my highest viewed anime cover. I don't know, it might be different by this point in time, but super really proud of this cover. I wasn't expecting to get that many views on this cover, so I'm really thankful for you guys that have watched the videos and whatnot. I know a lot of you guys have seen in either your recommendations and whatnot, which is really cool. It's really cool to see that. But yeah, that's really this cover. Like I said, if you guys really enjoyed this video, please do like and comment and whatnot. If you have any other questions as well, like if there's any other questions you guys have regarding anything in this track per se that I did, you can write a comment, and hopefully I should be able to get to replying. But yeah, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. So like and subscribe and all that good stuff, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.